Hi everybody. If you've been following my posts on dyslexia, you know that so far we have talked about speech issues, auditory problems, directionality challenges, and memory problems that kids with dyslexia will have. Today, I want to talk about more zone in on the speech and auditory part of dyslexia, because tomorrow I'm going to talk about how to detect dyslexia in a very early reader, like kindergarten and first grade. And when you understand the struggles as to why it happened, why they struggle in that area, it'll be easier for you to understand on how to spot it, which I'm going to outline tomorrow. But I think it's important to understand why phonics alone does not work for a child who is struggling to read. Okay, so I'm going to talk about how what a dyslexic child will do with phonics. Okay, move, Robbie. Right. Okay, here's the thing, is that a child with dyslexia can absolutely learn phonics in isolation. With enough practice and repetition, they will learn that this makes the k sound. Okay, they will learn that this makes the a sound, and they will learn that this makes the t sound. Okay, they will know all the sounds that the letters make. But let me show you what happens. Okay, flip the camera here. All right, so you're going to go up to little Susie, and Susie knows all the sounds that these make. Okay, so you'll be like, Susie, what sound does this make? And she'll say k. Okay, great. What about this one? Ah, perfect. And this one, t. Perfect. Okay, do it again, Susie. K, ah, t. Great. Now, what word does that make, Susie? Well, I don't know. Okay, well, try it again. This time go faster. Okay, so Susie will come back. She'll go k, a, t. Faster. Okay. K, a, t. K, a, t. K, a, t. Okay, what word does that make, Susie? Well, I don't know. And you'll get a dumbfounded look on the child's face. All right? Now let me explain to you why that's going to happen. Okay? Because what you're doing with phonics is you are taking the word cat and you are breaking it down into its individual sounds. Okay? The problem is that Susie's brain thinks that cat is one sound. Her brain is not able to break it up into a sound. So she knows that this makes a k, even though she's never heard a k before in her life. And she knows that this makes a, even though she's never heard an a before in her life. And she knows that this makes t, even though she's never heard a t before in her life. Okay? But she cannot put the sounds together to make words. And I'm going to explain why that happens. Okay? It happens because, for two reasons, actually. The first reason is maybe she's having a hard time actually hearing the sounds. Okay? That's the first thing that you want to check with a child who is struggling to learn phonics. Can they actually hear the sounds and words? Now, there's probably other programs that will do this, but the best one I have found is the Barton Reading and Spelling System. On their website has a screener that will help you determine if your child can hear sounds in words. Okay? If your child cannot hear sounds in words, and I'll post the link below so you can have access to that. If your child cannot hear sounds in words, what they need to do then is they need a program called Foundation in Sounds. Now there's probably other programs out there that will help your child to hear the sounds and words. And also, if your child needs to be able to hear the sounds and words, they were probably likely in speech therapy or already are in speech therapy, because if they're having trouble hearing the sounds and words, then they're probably having a lot of problems with the spoken language in their speech. Okay? So this would be step number 1. Determine if they can hear the sounds and words. Not every child who struggles with reading is going to need to learn sound discrimination, okay? But probably if your child has dyslexia and has more of a severe or profound case, then it's very likely that they might need this type of program. So once your child can actually hear all the individual sounds and spoken words, then the next step they need to move to then is something called phonemic awareness. Okay? Phonemic awareness is the ability to manipulate the sounds of words in their head. Now, reading research has proved that being able to have this one skill is absolutely 100% correlated with being able to read accurately and fluently. Okay? And I'm going to kind of show you what phonemic awareness is here just a little bit. There are several different levels of phonemic awareness skills. Now, some of these phonemic awareness skills typically aren't needed until a child is in 3rd grade, maybe even 4th grade. But a child who is struggling with reading will definitely be lacking their grade level awareness of phonemic skills. I can guarantee that 100% every single time. If your child struggles with reading, the problem is going to be here. Okay? So let me show you what it looks like. Okay. There are several different levels to having phonemic awareness. One thing I want to say is that most children will develop these skills automatically. I think it's about 60 to 70% of children will develop phonemic awareness automatically as part of their development. Okay? A child with dyslexia will not. All right? So these are the types of things that a child with dyslexia absolutely, positively, 100% needs to have mastered in order to become a fluent reader. And I'll explain why more in a minute. Okay? So it starts off pretty easy. So I don't know if you can see here, but levels D and E2 means that a child in preschool to mid-kindergarten, and F and G is also kindergarten, needs to be able to have these skills in order to advance to 1st grade, to like a 1st grade reading level. Okay, this is the types of things you're looking for. Okay, say footprint. Now say footprint, but don't say foot. The answer is print, right? Say invention. Now say invention, but don't say in. Invention. Okay? Say sheet. Now say sheet, but don't say sh. Eat. Say loop. Now say loop, but instead of ol, say s. Soup. Okay? Those are the types of things that your child needs to have absolutely 100% mastered by 1st grade. Okay? Otherwise, they will struggle in reading. All right, now we're going to move on, and these are skills that are developed a little bit later. Okay? Early to late 1st grade. We have say sweet. Now say sweet, but don't say sweet. Say true. Now say true, but instead of t, say g. Grew. Okay, let's move on to some harder ones. Now these are generally start happening naturally in 2nd grade. If your child really is struggling, they probably don't have pretty much any of these skills here. Okay, say bat. Now say bat, but instead of say I. Bit. Okay, here's level L. Say hen. Now say hen, but instead of n, say d. It'd be head, right? And level M. Say swept. Now say swept, but don't say p. Sweat. Okay? They need to be able to do these things in their head fast and automatically. When you can manipulate sounds in your head, that is when you can become a fluent reader. Okay? Once you have the appropriate grade level phonemic awareness skills, then that is when your child is ready for phonics. Phonics takes the sounds and moves them to the letters, okay? Phonics assumes that you already have phonemic awareness skills. If you don't have phonemic awareness skills, you will not be able to use phonics in its application. You can still learn phonics, but you won't be able to use it. Your child will not be able to use phonics in order for them to read. So what they do instead, what happens instead, and this is what happens to kindergartners and first graders, is that they'll see this word enough times and it will become something called a sight word, okay? They're memorizing it with their visual memory, and that's what they are trying to do with all of the words they learn, is they try to memorize them by sight. Some people say that they try to memorize them by shape, by size, by the first letter and the last letter, because the order of the letters don't really matter, other than that they're trying to memorize it by sight. Okay? They know they have to remember words, and they see this one a lot, and so they memorize it by sight. But the sounds don't make any sense to them at all because they don't have phonemic awareness skills. Okay? Now I want to share something that's important, I think, for people to understand, is that when we read, we're not using our visual memory. When I pick up a book and I read it, I can read it fast and accurately with my eyes. So the input is with my eyes, but the storage for that information is actually coming from the auditory part of my brain. When I read it, I immediately convert it into speech sounds, the auditory part, okay? Auditory issues are the main culprit in dyslexia and why a child cannot read fluently. It's kind of like if phonics was a vacuum and you went to the store and you purchased a vacuum and you brought it in through the house. The house is your visual memory, okay? You're bringing it into the house, but your house is huge and it has all different kinds of things in it. You store the vacuum in the closet, okay? The closet is phonemic awareness. You can search all over the house for that vacuum, but you will not find it unless you go into the closet. Phonemic awareness is absolutely 100% essential for a child with dyslexia to learn how to read, and they will not develop that normally like children without dyslexia. Okay? So, thanks for watching.